Hi and welcome. My name is Tulin and I'm the co-founder of Productivity Me. In this video, we're going to look at a series of keyboard shortcuts which will allow you to more effectively use Microsoft Excel, particularly when looking at menus and dialog boxes. We'll look at the top 10 keyboard shortcuts for this area, things like displaying the shortcuts menu with Shift F10, things like displaying the control menu with Alt Spacebar, as well as a series of controls which will allow you to move from different commands within a dialog box, as well as apply or accept changes within that dialog box. Lastly, we'll look at how to modify the cell style dialog box with using the keyboard shortcut Alt apostrophe. So if any of these ideas, any of these tips or tricks are interesting you, go ahead and join us in this video. Okay, so if you want to follow along, go ahead and download the file Apple Inc. Income Statement 2015. That's the Excel file that we'll be using in this video. You can find a link to download this file in the description section of this video. So, first of all, what is a menu? A menu is an item like this that will essentially give you a series of choices. Very similar to a menu is a dialog box. So if we were to click here, the alignment in the alignment group here, click this, it would essentially create a dialog box, which essentially is a pop-up menu, which will give us a series of choices. Here, in this case, things like changing the format of the cell in terms of the number, alignment, font, or border. Now, if we want to display the shortcut menu, we could do this by using our mouse and our right cursor. So if we click on the right portion of our mouse, we'll get this shortcut menu. Now, what I prefer to do is often I will use the keyboard combination of Shift F10. Pressing Shift and the F10 function key will launch that shortcut menu. So this is our first keyboard shortcut of this lesson. If you want to display the shortcut control menu, you can come up here and you can right click. Right click would give you this little menu of restore, move, size, minimize, maximize, and close. However, if you wanted to use the keyboard shortcut, you can press Alt Spacebar. That too would give you that same menu. So next, if we had a dialog box open, so maybe let's go to font here, click this little drop down or this little icon here, it would bring up the format cells dialog box. If we wanted to move in between the individual items of this dialog box, maybe from font to font style to size, we can use the tab key. If we want to move in the opposite direction, we would use Shift Tab. If we want to, say, make a selection, or rather select a different tab, maybe go from font to border, we would press Ctrl Tab. Or if we want to go in the opposite order, we press Ctrl Shift Tab. So Ctrl Tab will move us from this left cell to the group on the right. And if we want to move in the opposite direction, here from font to alignment, we would press Ctrl Shift Tab. Now, once we're in a group here, we could again press the Tab key or Shift Tab. And when we come to an icon with a checkbox, rather than use our mouse or our cursor to click this checkbox, we can use the spacebar. Pressing the spacebar would have the same effect as using our mouse. So once we want to apply those changes, we would press Enter, and those changes would be applied. If we zoom in, you can see that there's now a strike through. So if we were to go here and let's launch the font dialog box a second time, let's say that we wanted to cancel some changes. So maybe we've decided to change the font to red. This is what it would look like. If we press Enter, it would be applied, but we want to cancel those changes. If we want to cancel those changes, we press the Escape key and no such changes are made. So that includes 9 of the keyboard shortcuts we've looked at. The last one we want to look at is the keyboard shortcut of Alt apostrophe. Pressing Alt apostrophe will bring up the cells style dialog box. So you have things like It indicates the number style, the alignment, font, border, fill, and protection, which can be really useful, particularly when we talk about locking and unlocking individual cells and how you might do that. Using this keyboard shortcut of Alt, comma can really help indicate which cells are locked and which cells are not locked. So in review, we had this spreadsheet and we looked at the different ways to display the shortcut menu with Shift F10. We looked at displaying the control menu with Alt Spacebar. We looked at launching a dialog box. So let's say we have a dialog box open and we want to move between individual items down here. We can press Tab, Shift Tab. We can press Spacebar to check or uncheck. We can press Enter to apply those changes. We can go back into that dialog box and then press Escape to cancel the changes. Lastly, we can go ahead and use the idea of Alt apostrophe in order to launch the cell style dialog box. So those are the top 10 keyboard shortcuts that we think you might want to consider when using menus and dialog boxes within Microsoft Excel. So if you have any ideas, any comments, go ahead and post those in the comment section. You can also give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down. That too would really help indicate how useful this content is or is not to you. And lastly, we would love to see you in another video. Next, we'll go ahead and cover the idea of the top, I believe it's the top 10 keyboard shortcuts for using workbooks in Microsoft Excel. We'll look at things like the keyboard shortcut of how to insert a new workbook, going to different workbooks, whether that be the next workbook or previous workbook. We'll look at navigating panes and going in between individual worksheets. So with that, go ahead and join us again soon, and we will wait until then. All right, have a great day, and as always, thanks for watching.